Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Welcome everyone to an episode of Outside the Panels. As always, I am your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes, and joining me this time around is a returning friend of the show. Ooh, intrigued? It is none other than the ultra creative, fantastic writer. It's Laurie Calcaterra. Laurie, how's it going?
I'm good, Johnny. How are you?
Hopefully I managed to get your name bang on this time.
Hey, it sounded great in your accent. I appreciate
Hey!
it.
The accent. It's the accent. It's,
Right.
Yeah, chicks dig the accent.
It's true. We do.
How the hell have you been?
I'm really good, man. A lot has happened since I was on your show last time, like a ton.
A ton.
I'm so excited to come on and talk about it.
So last time we were here, we were talking about the path of the Pale Rider, correct? And you are something of a, I would say, when it comes to your project and your book, I think you're probably one of the most creative people I know when it comes to using social media and all that sort of stuff, you know, Instagrams, TikToks, Facebook and all that sort of stuff. How's that level of creativity translated in the success of the book for you for issue one?
We were wildly successful on our first Kickstarter. You know, typically a first Kickstarter for a comic book is around $2,000. Usually though, what happens is it's the artist that's running the Kickstarter and they opt to not pay themselves.
Oh, okay.
So me being the writer, I have to pay an artist. So my goal was actually double because I have to pay my artist his page rate, right? So he's not working for free. I am.
I hear the pain. I feel the pain, my friend.
This is how it goes, at least in the beginning, right? So my goal was $45.50 for our first Kickstarter, and I was so anxious and nervous, and we ended up kicking butt and taking names. So we ended at like 5,200. We were 116% of goal. We had 107, I want to say, backers after everything kind of settled. Cool. Huge for a very first Kickstarter. That's I gotta say that's phenomenal. And I had no idea, you know what I mean, what I was doing. So now I kind of have that experience and like what to do, how to market. So being on all these shows, coming on a Johnny's show, you know, Al Mega's show, everybody's show, that really gave me a lot of exposure. And I so appreciate, you know, being able to talk to the fans and anybody who wants to interact and learn more about the story, because ultimately that's what it is. The story is great. The project is great. But if people don't know you exist, how can they back you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great shout. You know, the fact that, you know, you're using social media so well to get your brand across. And when I look at your socials, I mean, you've got it going on. I mean, look, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I want to see the Pale Rider do a dance.
Dance on there? I don't think I dance on there, not yet. But I gotta say, I'm better at certain ones than others. Like, for example, the Facebook group is really where I get to interact with people. We play games, like captions. I'll do sneak peeks. We'll do trivia. We'll do like Google your name plus apocalypse and see what picture pops up. So we'll play. We'll do fun things and like interact, right? Cool. Instagram and Twitter, you can't really do that same amount of interaction because they don't give you enough words. But I'm getting much better at Twitter. Twitter was the new one for me. Instagram is great because it's visual. So of course we're an art-based project, so it all's there. And then the TikTok is really where I get to have fun. Of course, I'll show the art. I'll do memes, but I also get to like video myself, my kids dressing up in based on the world and running around. Like, I think I have a couple of videos where it's like, you would not survive the apocalypse with kids.
Right. I think I throw the kids into the apocalypse.
Well, that's
I'm not breaking any bones. So kids, my kids, if you're watching this,
no, he loves you. I promise. No, he loves you. Don't listen. Don't listen.
Katie, you're first. I'm just saying. You're getting fed to the zombies. Yeah.
So yeah, so you'll see like a bunch of different stuff on the TikTok. And like right now I don't know if you remember, but we have like the comic book, and then we do the riddles, and then we do the short films, right?
I remember
So I'm working on the short film right now. I'm finishing it up for the second campaign, and doing like sneak peeks of that in the TikTok so people can kind of see what's coming. So that one's just a little bit of everything, a little mishmash. It's kind of fun.
Very good. I see you have brought along a little video for us to see. Is this a sneak peek?
Trailer.
It's a trailer.
Teaser trailer, yeah.
I think
let's play it.
I think we should see it, definitely. Wow.
Yay.
Whoa. I noticed there's differences. Some art's colored, some art isn't.
Yeah.
Is this a choice, a creative choice from yourselves?
Let's talk about this. Okay. So in our first Kickstarter campaign, we had our main goal was black and white, right? Our main goal was to get the story and let people start reading it. We had a color stretch goal. We didn't get there. We were close. I think we were like $500 off. So the comic went out in black and white, right? But we were so close. Like our goal is exactly the same this time. We did not raise our Kickstarter goal. So again, if we hit that same number, that 45.50, we'll get a black and white comic. We got to hit that first stretch goal if we want color. But we were so close last time. I have no doubt we're going to hit that color stretch goal this time. People, if you look at the backdrop, Marco does excellent work in color. Not only can he pencil and ink, he's a colorist as well. So we started coloring some pages so people could get excited about that and see, you know, what he can do, because then it will help us push towards that color stretch goal. So I think like I have a few stretch goals. Like one, if we get to 100 backers, I'll release the blooper reel from the from the short film. And oh my God, Johnny, it is so funny right now. I can't even tell you. It's about conspiracy theories, right? So people are just saying the most ridiculous things. And these are all like Path of the Pale Rider fans that are in the video, so it's extra funny. You'll get to see yourself in it, you know, if you're in it. And then like I think my first stretch goal is like it's like at 5,000. It's like I'm gonna throw everybody some extra merch. It's actually gonna be a 5x7 print of that, which is in the background. That beautiful, splash page of Big James and Jude St. Clair. And then I think the next one is like 6,500, and that's to color the second issue. So if we get there, issue number 2 is just going to go out in color. There isn't going to be a black and white version, okay? Which is what we want. We want to start releasing color issues. We want to skip over that black and white face and go right to color. Yep, see, there it is. I'll show you guys in a minute. Yeah, and then then our next stretch goal is actually another color stretch goal, but it's raising money to go back and color issue number 1.
Right.
Which is what that's from. So
I love the bear. The bear's one of my favorite.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
I sent you the PDF if you haven't read it yet, but you get to see what happens with this bear. I'm not gonna spoil it for the people watching. You'll have to go read it. But it's a bad day. It's a bad day for Jude St. Clair.
As long as it's not a bad day for the bear. You know what
well, the bear's already undead. I mean, every day's a bad day for him. He's a zombie. Yeah. So yeah, do you want to put up the first slide group?
Shall
And
we?
I'll talk
Shall
about
we have
it.
some slides going on?
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
show people. So
I have to say, I will say this now that Laurie has come prepared. All right. So for anyone who wants to know how this pod works, generally what happens is I have the guest, the lovely Laurie in this case, and a ream of windows going. And as we talk, I'm flipping through the windows and stuff. Laurie is the first person who's rocked up with her own slideshow. So basically, I don't have to do anything. I'm just here.
no,
I'm just here being the pretty one.
right.
Here we go.
You know why though? I have, like I said, I have so much has happened since I was on your show last time. And one of the things
Cool.
is I actually have my own show on Tuesdays and I use StreamYard. So I'm quite familiar with this program now.
You never invite me on your show.
It just started.
Fine, you're gonna be like that about it. You've done mine twice. Fine.
Johnny, I have done 2 episodes.
I'll let you off.
But anyway, I'm familiar with StreamYard at this point. So yeah, so people,
it's a
this
great
is
platform to use.
our logo. What, Johnny?
It's a great platform to use if you're in the podcasting. Dead
And
easy.
you are welcome on my show anytime you want to come hang out.
Cool.
The crew, they're crazy. We have a good old time. We just make each other laugh and we talk about whatever. If anybody has like a Kickstarter campaign, they talk about what's going on. We all give each other updates on our projects. I have guests come on, like on this coming Tuesday, I have Sam Vera, and there's an alien in my toilet, which is hilarious.
Spoke to Sam, interviewed Sam before. Yep.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy, and he's in Texas. So like, I ran into him at a con at his table, and I was like, oh my God. And like, we're going to a con in October, and I know he's going to be there. So this time I'm going to take a selfie. Like, yeah. proof that we actually are in the same space, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the slides. Sorry, I saw shiny things. So this is, how do I explain this? This is something very meaningful in our comic. I haven't explained it to the fans yet, but just know that it means something.
Just leave it there. Leave it Vorlon-esque for all you Babylon 5 fans. It's just there for you to think about.
When you go on a Kickstarter, this is the image you're going to look for when you're pulling up Path of the Pale Rider. This is what you'll see. So I just want you to be familiar with it, because when there's 8,000 projects that are live on Kickstarter every day. If you type in Path of the Pale Rider, you see this image. That is us, right? That's us.
Sounds like
so, and we kind of saw this in the teaser trailer, but these are the covers for issue number 1. All the variants have been sold out. I'm actually doing a very small reprint of the variant covers for the Comic-Con I'm going to in October. But this is the Marco DeFillo cover. Marco is our main artist, so he does all the interiors of the comic. And I just have to say, this cover is so cool because he will tell you what's happening in the story on the cover. So it's kind of like one of those spoilers with no context.
Well, which works. Yeah, definitely. It's better than having a cover with absolutely nothing related to the story.
Right. And I mean, they all usually have something to do, but sometimes it's just like a cool image or, oh my God, that's badass. But this is like the shattered glass with the reflection of all the different things going on with like Jude and the disc and the horse and the zombies. And then like he's making a comment about how humanity itself is shattered and broken, in the apocalypse. So he did this really cool thing with reflections all the way through the comic. So you'd see reflections on glasses, on eyes, in pools of blood. Like you'll see a reflection there. It's really neat. So anyway, here's cover B by the very talented David Rodriguez. Again, we have zombies in the comic, but they're not your typical zombies. Yep. Johnny and I went in depth into how this world works in our last episode. So if you're interested in hearing in depth what we talked about, go back to that last episode and listen through, because I break it down and I blow his mind on. I mean, poor Johnny. He was like, he's like, your mind is just so gruesome. How do you live there? And I was like, sorry, that's kind of what I do. But so the basis of our world is the death process is broken. So your body can die, but your soul or your energy or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't leave your body. So you don't rest, you don't transition, you're stuck in your body as it decays, and you slowly go crazy because your brain is decaying, right? So we have zombies, but again, this is for all life. So animals, fish, insects, you name it, it can't die. You could be a pile of bones. We could burn you to a crisp. You don't get to leave. Okay. It's that bad. So, but I love this cover. David Rodriguez did some great gory pictures, like amazing. He's working on some other stuff for me, which I will show you. And it's good. It's like one of those where it's like, that's so gross. That's when you know it's the right level of gore, when you're like, oh my God.
Like this. I'm not looking.
Yeah, like, oh.
There's a bear.
Big James. I love Big James. He's a force in nature. This cover is done by Jose Martinez. He's a very big horror and George Romero fan.
You said horror there. Just with your accent, it sounded like something else.
Horror. Yes,
horror.
People. Sorry. He's a horror fan. This is very much inspired by George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So that's what he was going for, the color palette and everything like that. He spent a lot of time doing detail on that bear. It's like he's got bullet holes and barbed wire and axes sticking out of him. So it's like everybody has tried to get rid of this bear and they just can't, you know.
So just remind me, because the body's dying, the body's decomposing, the soul, the energy is still in there. Does the soul and energy then feel pain? So
it's like yes, in a numbing, and it's kind of numb. It's kind of like you're seeing through fog. You're feeling things. Okay. You're feeling things, but it's not as intense.
Right.
It's just kind of dulled because your nerve endings have been killed. Right. You know what I mean? But you're still there. Cool. So yeah, you can feel, but not to the same extent.
So that would be the true horror, wouldn't it? The fact that you kind of live in that regurgitated pain all the time. So if he was like, yeah.
I have characters that have been burned, and they live in a continual hell because they've been burned and they live that feeling every day. It's not as intense where they're not screaming in pain, but they can feel it. It's pretty bad. And of course, we have the Jude St. Clair. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly homage right here to spaghetti westerns.
Yeah.
This is Everett Watkins.
I like that. I really do like that one. That one's really.
I love it. It's like smoking gun.
The colors look great.
His bullets are highlighted. You know, you get the cowboy hat and the sunset, and it's like the mountains. It's just such a nice cover. I love the color palette he chose as well. So, but here we are. We're 10 years into the apocalypse. Of course, this is very reminiscent of Walking Dead. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. So you'll see like Walking Dead, I Am Legend, Book of Eli, Fallout, Mad Max, you know, anything that kind of influenced Star Wars, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Lethal Weapon. There's references to all of that in here if you look hard enough.
Okay.
I reference Marvel and DC characters. It's all in there. So we got our cowboy in the apocalypse. Again, Marco went back and colored a page so people could see what the comic would look like in color. It just adds so much, you know.
I like the consistency between the second panel, the background's green, and as it continues in the clack panel, the background's still green. Recently, I looked at a comic book and the background was a different color every time.
Ooh. That can get a little distracting. I think maybe they were trying to make an art choice there.
I don't know what they're trying to do. It just annoyed the hell out of me.
Oof.
But I
love that second panel with the eye squint. It's like Clint Eastwood, you know, spaghetti western, and that's a huge influence in here as well.
Cool.
So we're very cinematic. Like if you go down 1, 2, 3, row number 4, where it's like the person running between the camera and the protagonist. So it's like those jump scares in the movies. Like that's what we're trying to portray. You know?
Hard to pull off in a still medium like comic books. Definitely.
It is, but like once I explain it, I'm like, that's a person running through the scene. They're like,
I got that.
You know what I mean? This one was hard to This one was hard to see in black and white because he's looking through like the beat up car.
Yeah.
So in black and white, it's different. This one is far superior in color. So that's what I'm trying to communicate to people. Like, don't you want to see this in color? Because I do.
I'm looking at the black and white one now, and especially around the clack panel, the face on the black and white one, the inks don't seem as strong, so it doesn't stand out or get as much against the very heavy inks of the car, and of course the gun with it being in the foreground. Those two things catch your eye, and because the inks aren't as strong around the face, it kind of loses a little bit of momentum for me from that way. But it still looks great. Colors absolutely help.
I mean, the color is, it's just that much better. But this is what we're looking forward to, people. We want to do a reprint of issue number 1 in color, and that will be really cool when we get there. So here we are, still in the apocalypse. Jude is got in a kid's face, like whoops. And then he taps the disc. So I have my disc shirt on too, like people see. So this thing that people wear in my world. It will beat with your heart, and that's kind of how they can tell if you're still living or undead. Okay. So we have built technology. You know, we've really done a lot of. I say we, I mean me. I have done a lot of world building. I have thought of every angle. You know what I mean, like how people would react, how the government would react. Yeah. So there's a lot in here. I'm not going to spend too much time. I just kind of want to show you some aesthetics. Like he's out in the wild. He encounters some wolves. He's super tired. He was up all night because he was worried those wolves were going to come back, and he comes across this farm. This page has a lot of dialogue, and it's just him talking with this lady and her young child, and he tells her, you know, I'm looking for Santa Claus, and she's like, aren't you a little old to believe in Santa Claus? And he's like, not the legend, the town. So he's headed to this town called Santa Claus, which is a real town in Arizona. And he's
is it?
It's look it up, put it in Google Maps. It's there. That's why I was looking around because he's going to a specific place. Okay, I'm not going to say where. He has a couple of big destinations that he's going to. So I was looking at the map of the West, looking for notable places in the area that would make sense on his path. And I'm like, Santa Claus. Bing, bing. I'm like, it's too good not to do it. You know what I mean? And then you should wait until we get to next issue because I'll show you what Santa Claus looks like. Anyway, so he's looking for this guy named Dwayne Fink. Okay. Dwayne Fink. Hopefully you guys can understand me.
Dwayne Fink.
Yes. So he's looking for some guy, says he has information. He's been looking for him for a long time. And she kind of says, well, all the towns, I don't know their names, but if you go up this road, I-93, there's a town up there. So maybe that's it, you know? So he's been looking for this guy for so long. He's determined to find him, right? The lady fills this water bottle. He has this touching little moment with the girl where she's like, oh, I wish I had apples for your horse, but all we have is carrots. And he's like, well, you know, I think he introduced like Diane. My horse is actually a girl. We call her Prince, but she's actually Diana Prince, and she has a star. She has a star on her forehead. And she's when the color is there, she's a tan horse. Right. You know what I mean, with dark hair. So, in other words, Jude St. Clair has read Wonder Woman in my world.
Fair enough.
So that's kind of fun. You know what I mean? She's petting the horse, and the lady, of course, doesn't trust anybody. So
she's why would you? It's a zombie apocalypse.
Exactly. I wouldn't trust it. But the girl is young enough. She's under 10, right? We're 10 years into the apocalypse. So she didn't live through the chaos. So she doesn't know. She has this innocence to her, and she doesn't realize how crazy a place this is. So here we are on the road. If you followed my last campaign, these are the preview pages that we gave you. 8 pages. A preview page for the first issue was a lot, but we kind of showed the world. Things are falling apart. He has a conversation with his horse. They have this relationship. They decide to go, even though there's this big old sign that says "Caution, Dead Bear." He gives her a pair of shoes for her birthday.
There you go.
Happy early birthday, right?
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
You gotta take care of your lady, and she needed a pair of shoes, so he
You
did.
got to dance with the horse that brung you.
Right, exactly. Comes around this corner. Here's this hand sticking out. Has this glass. It's still active. He's has to pull it out of the. It's not just like balanced. He has to act. Like yank it, and it goes flying through the air. The zombie hand all comes apart. This kind of like this person, I would imagine that they got smashed kind of like in Looney Tunes where they like fall off the cliff or like the big rock like just smashes them and poor arm is just, I think they have an arm and a leg sticking out and that's it. So Jude catches this glass. Here's a reflection, which is really cool. It takes a look at it and there's a map of Las Vegas. Wonder what that means.
I wonder.
Right, but of course this crow is like and he like scares the crap out of Jude and he's like, yeah, I don't know what I was doing, that was stupid. So just kind of like shoves it in his bag. We have Star Wars reference. I have a bad feeling about this. And all these crows are going around the corner eating this thing.
Wonder what's coming next.
Here's the bear, takes up the entire damn road. So it's like, do you go forward and go over the bear, or do you go back? Those are his choices. He can't go up and he can't go down. You would go back.
I'm not walking my really fit horse over a dead bear where there's zombie crows that can eat it. No.
That's what he does.
What a moron.
I mean, but they've done stuff like this before, and he wants to talk to this guy. He's been looking for this guy, right? So Jude's looking for the answer. He wants to know what broke the death process and why do the dead no longer die. So, I mean, if you've been looking for 10 years for the answer and you think this guy has the answer, you're going over this dead bear, right?
But what about the horse, man? That's his.
The horse makes it just fine. Look at the top panel. She goes over just fine. They have a moment where everything is fine, but she trips on the road because the road's falling apart. And what happens? This glass that Jude made the decision to pick up, which was dumb, comes flying out and crashes into the ground. And now the bear is awake. So whose fault is this? This is Jude's fault.
What a moron.
Yep.
Use your head for something other than a hat rack, Jude.
I mean, so now they have to deal with the consequences of this undead apex predator that's going to come after him. And I'll tell you what, it's not a good day for Jude. Yeah. But I mean, that's really the whole point of issue number 1. You got to see Jude make some decisions. You got to see him in the wild. You got to see, the consequences to very small decisions. Picking up a glass has dire consequences in the last part of this book. So that's the world that he's in. You know what I mean? It's a terrible place where on snap of your fingers, everything is different. Yeah. So
crazy. You know what? It's intriguing. It's there. I absolutely love the idea that you've got zombies walking around who are still kind of alive, but the body's decomposing. Yeah. I think that's really cool, and so on. Excellent. Right, we're going to take a quick break. I know what's coming up in the second half of the show. Hey. So it makes only sense to me that we run this advert. This is Crisis in the Toyverse. Enjoy. I'm blaming the internet connection for the snafu on the third track. All right, okay. Question of the Toyverse. I can just imagine like a figure set, like a McFarlane toy set of Jude, his horse, and his bear.
Yeah.
I am
Oh,
all
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Just wait. I got a lot more characters coming.
All right. So that's issue 1. Done and done.
Mhm.
107 backers on the original project. I've just had a quick look at your preview page on Kickstarter, which I'll show in a little bit towards the end of the pod. You are currently, bearing in mind it's not live at the time of recording, right? When's it go live for issue 2?
Tomorrow.
So it goes live on the 30th of September.
Yeah, so the 30th of September at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm pushing the button. What time is that in your time? You'll be asleep.
No, 9:30 p.m. or 9:30 a.m.
PM.
p.m. Yeah, I'll be asleep.
I was like, isn't that like 2 a.m. or something?
I'd not 5 up to 9 is what 14. You have to in the morning.
Yeah, you're gonna be at 2
I'm
a.m.
asleep. I'm like,
yeah, that's okay. You can come on the next morning and then push the PDF reward. There you go.
Yeah, cool. I'll do that. So on the pre-screen, on the preview before you get to the live thing, you've already got 52 followers.
Yep.
That's practically half of what you had, and the thing hasn't even started yet. That's pretty impressive already, isn't it?
Right. Thank you.
Yeah,
everybody wants to get to that magic 100 number. But you know what?
As long as nobody puts the $5 one on.
Well, I mean, if you can afford the $5 one, come on in. I will, if you want just the PDF, because that's all that you can afford, brother, I got a place for you. I will still treat you as a fan like everybody else. You are a fan.
Cool.
Every little bit helps people. But here's the thing. I think the people that have signed up for my Kickstarter on the pre-launch page are people that are actually going to back. Because I've seen people like campaign for pre-launch.
Cool.
And it's like they start with 123 people signed up for pre-launch, and they're a weekend and they only have 29 backers. You know what I mean? Where it's like, are those people really going to back, or are they just pushing it to make you happy because that's what you're promoting? I want the people that are going to be there and actually back. You know what I mean? So I don't need to fluff the numbers. I just want people to come and to, the ones that want to read the story, come in for the rewards. I got some really cool rewards. Come in. And then for the experience, because I got the short film you're going to be able to see and all the other layers that are there. So
cool. Excellent. I like the idea. I think Kickstarter I think you mentioned it earlier. I think you at least alluded to it. Kickstarter is so big now when it comes to sort of independent writers and creators and artists.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people very much get click happy, like click.
Yeah.
And then when they get the notification and then come back to revisit, is it something that they really want to back on and so on. I fell a victim of this recently. I've notified me when it goes live. It came live and I was nowhere near a computer. I was like, I was in the middle of
Right, and that happens.
So
I'm not expecting those 52 people to be on the on the launch party and put all back in the first hour.
Yeah.
Like that's not how it works, people. Some people have to wait to get paid. Some people wait until the end of the campaign to make sure they have enough money in the bank account. Because that's the worst feeling in the world, to back a project and you don't have enough and then it cancels. And the creator.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of these indie people now. So I'll be like, hey, so-and-so, your pledge bounced. You know what I mean? How embarrassing would that be? So some people wait until the end to make sure that they can do that. And a lot of people that don't know you will wait until that you're 100% funded before they come on.
That was my comment.
Which is like so backwards thinking, people. In order for it to fund, we need your pledge. And again, Kickstarter does not pull your money until the end of the campaign. So even if I'm like 200% funded and I got 7 days left, they don't pull the money until those 7 days go by. Cool. So we end October 30th at 9:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right? We're doing a full 30 days. So it's not going to pull your funds until after that.
Cool. Excellent. Shall we get to slideshow number 2?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So here's issue number 2. This is the A cover. So Marco DeFillo's telling you a story here. So Jude, and you see the hands at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like stomping a guy, blood coming out.
It's very angular. I love the angular artwork. I love how it's so squared off. It takes no prisoners. It's very much, this is the environment. It's a harsh environment.
Yes.
Characters have to look harsh, and boof, this is what you've got. Spot on.
That's exactly how he explained it. It's Jude's hard path, the hard path that he has to take. So where he's stomping on a guy, he has a smoking gun in this one. And in the background, you have Big James, who is still out there, right? He just left Big James. But we have another figure that's spliced into Big James. I can't really talk about that right now because I don't want to spoil nothing.
Don't spoil anything.
When we're on issue 2, going on to issue number 3, I'm going to talk in detail about what that means, because that means something. Okay. So here we have cover B. Actually, I changed the font on this because I'm the letterer. I changed the top title, but it still says obviously Path of the Pale Rider. It resembles this one now. So we're trying to stay more uniform. So this is, again, David Rodriguez. So our friend that did all the zombies on number 1, he came back and did another half zombie. Of course, this is Jude in jail and half a zombie with his face missing. Not a good look for Jude. He's got a red disc. So again, he's undead. His heart's not beating. So I wonder, what this means. Could I kill Jude in episode 2? Maybe.
What?
But I'm just saying, nobody is safe.
What?
Because he could be undead going forward, Johnny.
Oh my God.
Slowly descend into madness. Okay, you'll just have to read it to find out. If you look at his knuckles, he has the words Dead West tattooed on his fingers. That is a reference to the original title I was working under for this script. So when I first started writing it, it was just called Dead West. But then I found out that there's like a band, a book series, another band, like they all have the name Dead West. So I didn't want to have, I didn't want to share the name with other social media, and I definitely didn't want them suing me for using the same stuff.
Well, I've looked into this recently because I came up with half an idea for a comic book, and I had a character, and I thought I better just Google check just to make sure. And I Google checked, and there is a character that has the same name, but I haven't been used in the last 25 years.
Oh, well, that's different.
So I'm like, but there's a thing you can, if it's a common word, then you're not breaking any copyright, right?
Yeah, but I also want people to be able to find my stuff. So if you Google Dead West, it's going to pull up this band that's been around for 15 years versus my one comic book, right?
Yeah, that's
why I was like, we're going to pick a new name. I'm going to get all the things, you know what I mean? So I don't have to have Dead West 45, you know what I mean? It's just Path of the Pale Rider. Plus, there is so much more meaning in Path of the Pale Rider, considering what, my world. So the Pale Rider is death. So in the Bible, at the very back in Revelations, it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and he who rides in last on a pale horse is death. So Path of the Pale Rider is the path of death. Where is death? Death is missing, right? So that's what this whole thing is about, is where the heck did death go? Not figuratively, but death process is broken. That's the whole mystery behind it, right?
For all you Marvel fans, she's probably hanging out with Thanos. There you go.
He snapped his fingers, and that's what happened, man.
Yeah.
He just changed his mind. This cover. Do you remember the smoking gun, the orange cover with Cowboy? This is Everett Watkins. This is his number 2.
Shut up. It looks totally different.
Of course. So so Everett is a writer and artist as well, and he writes this young adult series called Boog the Outcast, Boog, the Outcast. And Boog is a little like elfin figure, and he lives in the forest, and he rides bugs, and he has like spears and bows and arrows, right? He did this and was like, texting me while he was inking it, and he was like, I'm so grossed out. I was just laughing so hard because it's so different than what he typically does.
Yeah.
So it was fun for him to kind of break out of his norm, but he was just like, it's so gross. And I'm like, ha ha ha, yes. So this is our Christmas cover. We're going to be fulfilling in December. And so this is our Charlie Brown Christmas tree decorated in zombies.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.
Merry Christmas. Charlie Brown could be on there for all we know. But again, welcome to Santa Claus, right? Because Santa Claus is where Jude is going. So it's like this great, juxtaposition of welcome to this place, but it's so unwelcoming, this image. Like, this is a big stay the F away from Santa Claus, if I ever saw one, right? So it's just like, it's a good play. Like, it's Christmas, it's decorated tree, Charlie Brown tree, but yet it's covered in zombies and Santa Claus. So it's just all kind of, it works. Like, we take these genres like Christmas and zombie and we put them together. And this is,
why wouldn't you?
It's just fun. It's just fun. It's like we take Western and apocalypse, we put together, we throw in some zombies. So this, I have to update this picture. This has been inked, but this is the fourth cover, the third variant cover done by Rich Parada, who actually lives in the UK. He's a professor of art. I can't remember where. It's a creative college. It's an art college. So he actually used to work for Marvel and DC in the 90s. So he's a friend of mine and he's doing this. So he's actually going to be awake at 2:00 in the morning when I go live. And he's going to be inking the physical one of these. So he usually pencils, so he'll work traditionally, and then he'll scan it and into his Photoshop, and then he'll ink digitally and color digitally. But he still has that pencil one, right? So he'll use that. He does draw streams, so he'll be on the pre-launch party, like the launch party tomorrow, and he'll be inking this live. So you'll get to see him actually ink this cover, which is really cool. So we got Dude at a poker table playing cards. He's got a handful of aces with skulls in them.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of characters in the background. And of course, I'm going to letter this when it's done and beautiful. So he's got a disc. He's got a pile of chips. He's got, overflowing beer. It's just so Western. You know what I mean? The saloon.
Yeah.
It's going to be rad when it's done. I'm looking forward to him coloring this thing.
Is he gambling his disc? Is that what's going on there?
His disc is on the table.
Yeah. So
he took it off and he's got a machete. Like, he's ready for a fight. And everybody's just kind of like surprised by his handful of aces. So it's it says something, but who knows if this will happen or not. I like putting stuff on the covers to make you question what's going to happen in the issue. I could be lying to you, kind of like those Marvel trailers. You know what I mean? Where they show the Hulk, but really it's not the Hulk. It's Bruce Banner and the Hulk Buster. It could be this, or this could be happening. You don't know. Yeah. So I love doing that kind of stuff. This is the quote page. Tell me what. Okay, Johnny, pop quiz. What movie is this from?
Never Trust the Living.
Handbook for the recently deceased. Excuse me. It's from a movie. You've seen it. I guarantee you.
Never.
It was from I want to say the 80s. Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton.
Oh, Beetlejuice. I'm not saying it twice.
Yeah, I was like, don't say it every time. But yeah, that's like the last book I had, the quote was like something like by a poet about like souls being tormented in hell. So I just want to, it's like, I'm going to do a quote page in every one. And it's like, you never know what you're going to get. There could be something that's just meant to be funny, but still it pertains to this issue because now Jude was in the wild and now he's going into a town and you're going to see what this place looks like. It's not fun. So here's Santa Claus. So before you even get in, they got this big old wall and they got spiked zombies on the outside. So, and they got zombies hanging from light posts on the inside. In other words, stay out. You know what I mean? So they're not friendly. They got a saloon. He goes in. Here's the saloon setting again. So again, they're telling him, it's kind of small on my screen, but it says, look alive, barkeep, you got a stranger. So that tells you right there, like, they refer to people as stranger. They don't get a lot of new people. They might not be friendly towards strangers. So the guy kind of tells him, did BJ get you? And he's like, BJ? He's like, yeah, BJ the bear. Between the rock slides and BJ, we don't get many, new people coming up I-93. He says, another guy, Stuart, went down that way and hasn't come back. You have to have a powerful reason to be here. And Jude says, yeah, I've been looking for this guy who has really important information. And he's like, the bartender's like, well, who is this guy? And he's like, I've been looking for this guy named Dwayne Fink. And the bartender says, well, tonight's your lucky night. He's right over there.
Okay.
So of course, slams a beer on the table. There's this group of people. This is the guy from the cover right here on the left that says, let me get this straight, Dwayne. So the man of gold found the fountain of youth, and he says, no, Jimmy, gold lives forever because he snared death. So that crazy guy with the beer, that's Dwayne Fink. And so one of his other cronies is like, and how old is this guy? He's like, let me see. Drinks his beer. He says he's 103, 203, and he's gesticulating with his beer, spilling his beer on dudes. So I mean, he's drunk. He's a crazy drunk. Now, I love this page just because it's color, right? But look at the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's striking, right?
Absolutely.
So we got to get that color stretch goal. We got to.
Yeah.
We got to.
It makes as I said before, the inks just scream out.
Yes.
There's more context, definitely. I like the colors.
Yeah. So Jimmy says, I smell bullshit, right? Dwayne gets upset. No. Yeah. And he starts just saying crazy stuff. Like, we're being judged, and gold sits in a palace of lies while we fill the world with undead, and the wrath of God is upon us. And then here comes the sheriff, and he's like, careful, Dwayne. He's like, I'm telling you, he knows the answer to where death went, and spilling his beer on this guy, the same guy, which Marco and I, that's our humor, where it's like he keeps spilling his beer on the dude, falls off the table, has a bad day. So of course the sheriff is like, see what happens when you get all excited. He's like, okay, let's go sleep it off in the drunk tank. And Dwayne, my head hurts, Yeah. And then we have this last panel where the bartender is like, are you sure this is the guy you're looking for?
Yeah.
And Jude's like, yeah, I'm sure. He's like, the things I have to do to get information. He kind of says it under his breath. And the bartender's like, what's that? He's like, never mind. So you'll have to see what Jude does in order to get information. So we got all sorts of things planned for this issue. You'll find out more of the truth. And of course, a twist at the end. I always leave everybody hanging and ready for the next issue. But I will show you more of what Jude does, how he thinks. And speaking of that,
riddles. Riddle me this.
So if you remember, we had a riddle on the back of the first issue, which I think I made it a little too hard because not everybody was able to solve it.
I didn't solve it. I was like,
This one is much more solvable. So
if you know sign language,
there is Google, people. You can Google it.
All right, okay.
American Sign Language. You can figure this out. So if you translate that, it is a riddle. If you solve the riddle, send your name and the answer to that riddle to the email potpr.info@gmail.com, and you will get something from one of my characters. So at this one, you get to interact with the world.
Cool.
So you'll be getting something. Yeah, I don't want to say too much. Yeah, it's a surprise.
Don't say too much. Don't say too much.
No, but it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is my back cover. I did that one, so hooray. So Jude, this is what I was referring to. So Jude, one of the things that he does is he utilizes American Sign Language. He is not hard of hearing or deaf, but there was someone in his life that was or is. And so you're going to see some sign language in the comic. This is the one we introduced it. So hence why we're introducing it in the riddle as well. But you're going to see him basically cuss at people. I mean, he basically uses 100% swear words when he's doing this because that's how he is. He's a super sarcastic dude. He may be like, Johnny, yeah, I heard about that time you went fishing. That fish was great, you know, and that's the symbol for this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Harsh.
So, right? So
he knows me so well.
right? He's like, that fish was how big? Yeah, I don't think so. You know what I mean?
It was this.
Right? This. Exactly. So you're gonna see Jude do some signs. I'm not showing you all of them, but you're gonna see some cursing. It'll be funny. Yeah, so you'll see that. Now, when I was doing my last round of interviews, one of the questions I got all the time was, hey, have you ever thought about writing a choose your own adventure? Because our world is so complex and there's so many decisions that you can make that can send you one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, this would make a great choose your own adventure. So I won. It will be a reward level on this next campaign. So this is like the intro page of the choose your own adventure. Marco sent me a picture today. He finished the what do you call that? A spread cover where it's both the front and the back cover. So if you turn the book around and you look at it, it's two covers together. It's beautiful and dramatic and blood, guts, gore. I'm so excited. And it's a 60-page manga-sized book, black and white, and it does have some art. So I mentioned David Rodriguez. He's doing the interior little logos in here. And it's a choose your own adventure. So dear reader, you're about to embark on a choose your own adventure based off the world of Path of the Pale Rider. The world is very dangerous. Remember these rules as you stride forward. The death process is broken. This applies to all living things. Humans, animals, insects, etc. can all come back as undead if you dispatch them. Assume everything and everyone will undead you if given the chance. And nothing is as it seems. So use this logic and you will survive. Probably not, but good luck anyway.
Yeah, good luck. You're gonna need it.
So 60 pages of fun where you get to make some decisions and live out the consequences of those decisions in Path of the Pale Rider. You get to run bounties. It's really cool. And I have built some new characters that you might see walking around in the main story. So there could be some overflow into the main story of the comic. So we do some really cool stuff. I wanted to show you. David did want to, this isn't completed, but this is one of the more grisly deaths that you get to experience is death by bugs.
But then you're not really dead because you're
right.
Undead. Right. So now you're undead. Your soul is still inside, and now you've got lots of bug bites to deal with. That is hell.
Yep. Yep. They could eat you. They could just eat you. So it's like I actually do have a path in there where you become undead and you get to make decisions as an undead human going forward. So you get to experience that as well. If you can find it, if you can choose that path, you can get there. So there's lots of cool stuff. And of course, I'm opening up the Jude St. Clair Funko Pop. Everybody was really excited about these.
I love this. Oh man.
So what we did in the first Kickstarter, I randomly put a high level tier. I didn't think anybody would be excited about it. I was wrong. The second person that backed the project backed this. So this one that you're looking at is actually the most exclusive. It's the white box Jude St. Clair. There's only going to be one of these, and the lady that backed it, that's it. I'm not making any more. I have a brown box version, and max there's going to be two. So if Marco wants to purchase one, he can have a brown box. There's going to be an orange box reward level available on Kickstarter number 2. There'll be max of 50 of those. So still exclusive. Unfortunately, these are a little bit more pricey just because it is a custom made item. But if you're a Funko Pop fan, these are, they're gonna go.
What's the hitch for those then?
200.
Impressive. Cool.
The cost to me is 100.
All right.
So you get this, but you also get like comics and right? So there's quite a bit of overhead with these, unfortunately. If they were $30, I could do them for a lot cheaper and let everybody have one. But the Choose Your Own Adventure book and the comic together is $40. So that's a better, plus that one also, I'm only doing a limited number. I think I have 22 available as a backing level, and I think 25 as an add-on, and that's it.
Cool. So you're paying for the exclusivity as much as the
yeah.
Cool.
Now in Kickstarter number 2, we're doing a white box, which is a single, and it's going to be a Big James the Bear. So there'll be a Big James Bear Funko Pop out there. People are going to be fighting for that one. I've had 3 people ask me, are we doing the bear? I'm like, yeah, we're doing the bear. They're like, what do I have to do to get it? I was like, you have to be on when I push the button, because when it goes, I can't control it. You know what I mean? I can't control who gets it. And I know the lady that got this white box, she's like, I need that white box bear. I have to have it. And I was like, you gotta be on then. I was like, because if someone beats you to it, I know you know where I live. Don't show up at my house.
Oh, she will. She will.
She'll be like, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah. Cool.
But
Excellent.
there's only going to be one. So we have lots of other stuff. Of course, I have all the variant covers available. I'm going to be making keychains myself. I actually have a degree in art and I was a jeweler. I blacksmith. So I'm going to be making leather and aluminum disc, what do you call it? It's a die. So
all right.
Leather stamping. So I'm going to be making some really cool, nice keychains. Like the keychains were okay. They were those plastic ones with the picture inside. You just kind of hold them. They're okay, but these ones are going to be quite a bit nicer. I have a zombie starter pack where if you like zombies, I think it's like $8, and you can get 3 PDFs. You can get my issue number 1. You can get also Ray's and Avalon. Ray's issue number 1, Avalon number 1. And those are other 2 indie comic creators, and they do zombie comics as well. So if you're into zombies, you're into horror, you can experience some other indie comics that I recommend. I'm friends with these guys, and they do good work. So you can get that. Of course, we have ketchup tiers. There's signed copies. There's T-shirts. I have an idea of what we're doing for the T-shirt. I haven't finalized it yet because there's a swear word on it, so we'll see if that's allowed.
I'd have the cover that we've got as our background with the bear on. Just that on the T-shirt would be fine. Thanks.
It's really big though.
I'm an extra large, so it's fine. I'm all right with that.
You know what, Johnny? I got to ship stuff to the UK. We'll see. I was like, I have 2 T-shirts left from the last run that I did. I have a green disc and a red disc, and they're both extra large.
Which one's in? I want a dead one.
That's the red one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Right. And that was one of the cool things in the survey I sent out. I was like, okay, you get a T-shirt. Which team do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the living team or the undead team? Team Undead won. Absolutely, hands down. I think I did 30 shirts, and I think more than half of them were undead. Everybody's like, that's way more exciting. And they're right.
I'm living life now, so hey, let's go undead for a while.
Oh no, it's a challenge to be undead. I wouldn't want to do it.
I don't have to worry about food costs.
That's true, but then you got to worry about like body parts falling off.
Well, yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Yeah.
Lost my teeth.
Yeah.
Lost my whole bottom jaw. Can't communicate anymore. Lost an eyeball. I'm still around. Can't function. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a challenge. So we're going to be doing T-shirts. I have a secret tier. It's called the Bones of Despair. I have not told anybody what this thing is. All I can say is when you put a seashell to your ear, you can hear the ocean, right?
Right.
If you put the bones of the damned to your ear, can you hear their soul? Bones of Despair.
I'm quite scared now.
So I mean, that one isn't going to be. It's a collector's item. If you want to put something that looks cool and creepy, and it's like something that you would display on a shelf. But that's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
Cool. All right. But
I'm only doing I think max 20 of those. So, but yeah, we're gonna have lots of fun. I have lots of stretch goals. I have a crazy stretch goal. So so I have like the color stretch goals, right? We talked about those. If we get to 10 grand, one of my besties, she's also a comic creator. She's going to do a one-shot about the Skinner, who you encounter in the Choose Your Own Adventure. He's one of my more grisly characters. Yes, he is called Skinner for a reason. He is terrifying. So she's going to do a one-shot, which will be about 8 to 10 pages with the color cover explaining more about the Skinner. If we get to 12,000, I'm going to put on a red dress.
Way easy, Tiger.
I'm going to give you guys the option to vote on either I have 3 machetes or a sledgehammer, and I'm going to destroy a watermelon on camera in a red dress. So you guys get to vote which is my weapon, and I'm just going to maul some watermelon for fun. So 12,000. Cool. If we get there, you'll get to see me destroy things because that's what I do.
Oh, man. I'm 2 words into your riddle.
Oh. Yeah, don't solve it yet. Don't. Go solve the first one. Everybody needs. Okay, and okay. Now, I have been telling people how to solve the first one, at least to get the riddle. Okay, you have to have the book. But while we're here, let me show you. Where is it?
I was looking for a pen so I could write what I've written so far, but I'm going to have to remember.
All right. So if you have a physical copy of my comic, go down. Now, here is the riddle. Okay, I wrote a crossword puzzle. Okay.
Yes, I've seen that.
Now, this right here, see how there's a key to the riddle? Right? So we're going to take this off.
All right, okay.
And when you put this, this is called a red reveal. Okay? So the red, if you put the red over, then the blue pops out. See what I'm saying? And the red disappears. So there's
I've got to find some red plastic. God damn it.
So there's words hidden. I'm trying to get a good camera angle.
That's fine. There you go.
Now, if you look like wait. See, there's letters that pop out. See it?
That's cheating.
I gave you the answer.
I know, but I haven't got to find some red thing now.
Right? So the riddle is on the left side, all the way starting up at the left corner. So if you start at the left and you work your way down, you'll be able to read the riddle. Now, you have to solve the riddle, and it will take you to a place, a real place, and there's already people there to welcome you to the place.
Is it Santa Claus?
Not Santa Claus. Dear God, don't go to Santa Claus. They'll kill you.
I can imagine a whole bunch of people just rocking up.
Right. They'll just hang you on the wall outside. They're not nice. Yeah. But that's how you solve the first riddle. I put the same, like if you get the Choose Your Own Adventure book, I put a cipher, and that will also take you to the answer to the first riddle.
Cool.
So I want people to solve that first riddle because it's kind of like where you get your bragging rights. You know what I mean?
Cool.
You got to solve that one first, and then you can brag about 2, 3, and 4 and whatever. Cool. So number 2 is easier to solve, but it's a different experience. So
there you go.
It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, sounds great. There you go. There is your Kickstarter.
Here it is.
How I found this, dead simple. You go to Kickstarter, you type in Path of the Pale Rider, comes up straight away. Yeah, as I said, you've got your backers there so far, 52 followers. There's the image you talked about earlier. This goes live on the 30th of September, 9:30 p.m. EST.
Yes. So I will be live pretty much all of October, all the way until Devil's Night. So we end on Devil's Night. So hooray.
Hooray. Good call. Excellent. You know what? I'm absolutely stoked for you that this is doing so well.
Thank you.
I love the idea. I love your passion that you have for the book. It's infectious.
Thank you. We got
So
picked
like
up by a publisher. We're
yeah,
going to be publishing issue number 2 with Charter Comics,
cool,
based out of Fort Worth, Texas. So
cool,
yeah,
excellent. So onwards and upwards.
yeah,
Let's
that's
just
the
hope
plan.
let's just hope he survives. Long enough to like get.
Well,
get
I
more
won't make any
publishing.
promises about surviving. However,
Yeah.
he will find the answer. Whether he's alive or undead, when he finds it, he will find the answer. I believe it's an issue, I want to say 11. It's either 10 or 11 where you find out the answer. So I do answer the question. So the whole first arc is 13 issues. I am 8 issues into the second arc. I got about No, I'm 9 issues into the second arc. I think I have 3 issues left.
Right, cool.
So I think we're going to end that one at 12 issues. I don't want to write a fluff issue just to make it 13. If we end at 12, we end at 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And then there will be a third arc. And yes, there is an ending. There is an ending. So once we finish Path of the Pale Rider, it's its own thing. And then we move on to the next story. I have 3 other stories that I'm working on. I'm writing stuff for Charter Comics. I'm going to be involved in the Nut Brigade. The Nut Brigade. I can't even say it. I'm so laughing. It's called the Nut Brigade, which is about a squad of squirrels that are hitmen. It's super funny and dark. I'm going to be writing issues 4, 5, and 6 for a series called Psycho Sal, which is about a serial killer in Louisiana. So issues 1, 2, and 3 are written from like the police point of view where they're investigating the crime. Issues 4, 5, and 6, which I'm writing, are going to be from the victim's point of view. And then 7, 8, and 9 are going to be written from the serial killer's point of view. Cool. So it's going to be interesting series to kind of see all the angles of what happened. You know what I mean?
You mentioned earlier you're at a con later this month. So
yeah, I'm going to be at Cowtown. If you're in Texas, where I am, I'm going to be at Cowtown. That's October what? 22nd and 23rd. I'll be there both days. I'll be sitting with the Charter Comics guys.
Okay,
and cool. I will have my books available. I will have some prints available of all the different covers, and then that the whatchamacallit, I can't talk anymore. My brain just died. This beautiful one with Jude and Big James.
Yeah.
I'm going to have an 11x7 available of that one as well.
Cool.
So, but yeah, I'll be there both days hanging out and having a good time and talking to other creators. And I love going to cons. I have a blast. So
cool. Excellent. So there you go. Get yourselves on Kickstarter, 30th of September, 9:30 p.m. EST. If you miss out and you don't get the stretch goal that you want, go to Cowtown on the 22nd of October. Yell at Laurie, that's fine.
You can come yell at me. We're still going to be actively campaigning at Cowtown. I will be There'll be 7 days to the end. We should be funded by then. Last time we funded 9 days before the end of the campaign. So
I'll be surprised if you're not funded 7 days in. Never mind 7 days out.
Really?
I think it's absolutely. I think you've done fantastically well on the first time around. I think you've got 52 followers now. It's only going to go. It's only going to go up.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. People, your products are absolutely bang on. You've got the multimedia, social media thing going on. So I reckon within a week, 10 days max.
We'll see. I hope you're right. Dude, speak it into existence. You know what I mean? Because for anybody who hasn't run a Kickstarter, it's the most anxiety-inducing experience of your entire life. And it's like, it's so hard not to like hit the refresh button every 5 minutes and be like, okay.
I'd be that person. I would be that person.
It's
if you want to see what we're talking about, there you go. There's Laurie's socials. You've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got TikTok. So surely to God, there is some form of social media there with which you interact.
You
with.
do.
You would have thought, right?
Follow.
Yeah. on top of that, you've got the website. There you go, pathofthepalerider.com. Dead simple to remember. Just type it into your Google and boom, you're there. And of course, you saw it earlier, the Kickstarter. Same title, just stick it in Kickstarter and it'll take you straight there. There is, if it's not live, when you get there, click the little link, man, and it reminds you. And then, Bob's your uncle and Big Jim is the bear that's going to eat you later.
Big James is going to eat your face.
Yeah. And the rest of you for dessert.
We'll save that for later. Yes.
Yeah. Laurie, thank you so much for spending the time. I really do appreciate it.
I always have fun. Thank you, Johnny, for having me on again. I always appreciate it.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. More than welcome. And for everyone who wants to check out the UCPN, don't forget to look out for all your favorite shows. Crisis in the Toyverse. You never know. Bobo might get his hands on one of those Big J bears somewhere down the line. You never know. And of course.
I can't wait till we have action figures. That'll be great.
That'd be cool. Yeah. And of course, you've got the Old Timers Comic Book Show for all your retro comic needs. Excuse me. I'm dying there.
Please don't die.
No. Oh, undead even.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Yeah. Laurie, thanks very much. I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. And as always, adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.